Welcome back to another video. We're going to take a look within Shape Sculptor. We're going to have the grid modeling tool. Using this, we have the possibility to modify and deform meshes. So if I will go with the grid modeling selection, I have over here the Stanford bunny head. If I'm going to click on that, we're going to see how we're going to have a control cage that we can use to deform this. Now let's check the modeling tools. So we have over here the face grid for the deform. The first one will be a translation of the face. So in this case, for example, if I will select this face, I have the possibility to translate it. So this will go on the y-axis, and we're going to see how that mesh will be deformed afterwards. Keep in mind that all the changes done over here within this grid modeling, they don't have an undo. So as you can see over here, reverse, so the last action will not be available. Again, I can do a translation for this, and that will stretch the model over here. We also have a dynamic update. So we're going to see how that will stretch in real time. Without it, I will just stretch the control cage, and as soon as I release it, the model will be stretched accordingly. So you can keep the dynamic update enabled to better visualize the deformations. So this was the translation. We can also increase the number of segments over here. So we currently have 2 over here. If I will click once, this will add. So we see the subdivision. If I'm going to hold down, let's see, Shift, I will decrease the number. So again, if I want to, I can also right click. And for example, I can add 10 subdivisions over here. And afterwards, we have the possibility to only select one of those faces, but we are going to need to go over here within the loss section. So within the loss section, we're going to see that by default, all of those will be moved. But now, if I will choose this grid, we can also translate everything over here, or this is for this axis. So as we can see over here for the X, we can also swap it on a different axis. But we're going to see that the subdivision will not be enabled over here. So that means if I will select only that top section, again, this will move everything. If I will have those removed, we're going to see that now with this option, which is move the selected points according to the Bell law, this will only allow me to move the top section over here. So if I want to make the bunny ears larger, I can do that. I can stretch them on the y-axis, but I can also perform a scale over here. So as you can see, we can make those scale inwards, outwards. If we want to, we can also add a rotation over here. And we're going to see how those bunny ears will be twisted according to that deformation. Okay, so now if you want to work on a different, so for example, on the side over here, I will go back to the S direction, and we're going to see how we can use that. If I will go with the first option, which will move the selected points identically, let's see if that will only enable for a certain subsection, because currently everything will be deformed over there. And we also have the possibility to go with face grid and with point grid. For the point grid, as we can see, the faces orientations are like this. And we can just select a point over there, and we can work with that. So we see that the mouse will snap to those points, but this will be also regarding the manipulation direction. So currently I can only manipulate on that direction. If I want on this face, I will need to go over here on the X, and this will enable me to move the points on this side. I can also move the whole section. If I will select this, we're going to see that the whole loop will be selected. So that's for the point grid. And we also have the rotation, but currently as this is set, this will rotate with everything. So let me just select an axis over here, and we're gonna see how the entire face will rotate over here. So this is pretty much the grid modeling. As I said before, the main drawback is that we don't have an undo for this. The only available undo will appear once I will click OK over here. And now we're gonna have that mesh deformed. And we have the option to undo that. We're gonna see the first one was undo the empty selection. The following one will be undo grid modeling, which again, it will not do anything in this case. So keep in mind that all the changes done using the grid modeling will be destructive. So that means you don't have a history for those operations. Okay, so now let's take a look at how is this familiar with Blender. Within Blender, we can add a lattice. So if I'm gonna press Shift A, you're gonna see the lattice over here. I already added one over here for the Suzanne monkey head. If I will select that, we're gonna see that we can change the resolution. So just like within CATIA, we can increase that number of subdivisions for each axis. And afterwards, we can add a modifier, which in this case will be called lattice. So this is a deform modifier within Blender. And we're gonna have to link that to a lattice object. And afterwards, when they are linked, I have the possibility to select the lattice. I can press tab to go within edit mode. And for example, if I will select those 3 vertices, I can now grab them, and we're gonna see how the mesh will be deformed over there. Or we can do a rotation, either like this, or we can specify exactly what axis. So this is currently on the X. I can press Y for the Y axis or Z for the Z axis. In this case, the rotation will not do anything on the Z axis. Or we can also scale this, and we're gonna see how that mesh will look. So this is quite, let's say, the same functionality. Let me just add the monkey head to CATIA. So I will create a new mesh. I will go for the monkey head. I will press Ctrl 3 in order to add a subdivision level 3 over here. And with this one selected, I will go over here and I will have it exported as a monkey S3 from subdivision level 3. I only want to take the selection only. And afterwards, I will have that exported. Now, back within CATIA, we see that the bunny head had a mesh over here. So if I will import the monkey head over here with a scale factor of, for example, in this case 2, because I know that the rabbit head is quite big over here, I will click apply. We're gonna see that this will be the bunny, so it will have the mesh icon, while the monkey head will have the imported STL icon. So they are both the same type of object, which is a mesh, but they will just be different in that. We see that the monkey head is still quite small compared to that, to the one of the rabbit, but that shouldn't be any problems. I will also rotate the monkey head. So let's see on what axis I will have that rotated. And now we see that, again, we can make use of the grid modeling. We can apply it on an imported STL. And it will be the same functionality like within Blender. So I can increase those. And I can select, for example, maybe this face. I can have it translated. And we see how that monkey head will be elongated along that, that direction. Or we can do a rotation. So this will twist that. So the monkey head will look quite odd using those scales. Maybe I want to scale down that head. And now I will just move back those so that the monkey head will no longer be so elongated. We're gonna see how it will be stretched over there. In this case, it will be even, it will have some self-intersection. So you need to take those into account. Okay, so this is pretty much how you can use grid modeling within CATIA V5. This is a great tool, but overall I think that it is highly recommended to do this directly in Blender and have the mesh deformed over there, since Blender is, let's say, more suited for mesh deform. Okay, so if you enjoy this content, I will position a similar video that I encourage you to check on the left side of the screen. I will add this to the CATIA V5 tips and tricks to the top, and I will also add a subscribe button over here. So that's it. Thanks for watching.